Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, talking fishing. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use, so sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or carp, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Welcome everyone to Talking Fishing, a big show coming your way tonight, including plenty of winter snapper again in Catch of the Week. Also plenty of mail after our show last week discussing the Hastings Foreshore redevelopment. Lots of you are unhappy with the Mornington Peninsula Shire Council. I wonder why, seriously. We'll show you some cracking new lures by Shimano in Product of the Week. All that and plenty more, so let's get into it with a big welcome to the man who travels by kayak, Adam Ring. Welcome, Ads.
Thanks, Dave. Good to be back for another week, and we just saw our first little glimpse of snapper going right off on the weekend.
Yeah.
We had one day, and it was Sunday, and it just happened to be that was the day they wanted to come out and play, so our first little glimpse.
It's good, isn't it?
It's great.
But, and when you say, sorry, I'll introduce Trelly and we'll talk about it. It's always a big I'll start again. It's always a big welcome to the man all the way from Sydney, Stephen Victor Trolful. Welcome, Trelly.
Thank you very much. Yeah, flew in from Sydney, just got here. So
you and I woke up in Sydney this morning again, didn't we?
Yeah, I was on top of the sheets.
I wasn't in your room. Did you go for a swim this morning?
No. But I'll let some swimmers go. Yeah.
It was a big night last night in Sydney, and we'll feature what happened last night on next week's show because we were a bit late getting in today. But anyway, it was a good night.
It was early for Trelly.
I've got a bone to pick with your wife too. I know she's out in the foyer there, but
yeah, okay.
Want
to get her?
No, well, Trelly, you probably should. But I said to Mary last night, I said, can you make sure we're in bed by midnight? She failed.
Well, she had a bit of influence in factors.
Now, Trelly, I don't know I was on an early flight this morning.
Yep.
I don't know. Did you do a bit of a tour this morning?
No. Yeah, we had the after board meeting today, so it's the Australian Fishing Traders Association. So we get our heads together and work through.
But
things.
It wasn't about that. You were seen somewhere else. So someone sent in some photos. They spotted you. Now, what's Australian Bureau of Statistics?
Oh, okay.
What's that in your hand?
I don't know.
You're out the front there.
Is that my yes, no vote?
Did you vote yes?
Well, to that survey.
Did you vote yes, Charlie?
To the Australian Maritime Portal survey I did. Postal survey, Australian Maritime.
Oh, I thought that was the other one.
No.
I thought that was the other one. I thought you voted.
No.
Someone sent us these photos and said you voted yes today.
It says river boats, vote for river stuff and offshore boating. Yes. I'm totally for a yes vote on that issue.
All right.
But call me old-fashioned on the other one.
Let's have a look at what's being caught by the people at home. It's time for Catch of the Week.
Catch of the Week, brought to you by Shimano, providing reliable, trustworthy, quality fishing gear for your enjoyment.
Never know where Trelly's going to be, I tell you. But last night I knew where you were. You were.
He's with you.
You're high, I can tell you. Let's have a look. As we mentioned earlier on, that the snapper have hit, but before we go into that, there's another species that is just absolutely sensational this time of year. For anyone that doesn't want to go out for an early snapper, get into these big ones. Michael O'Connell did. He went out off Hastings. Now, he was fishing for COTW, I reckon for some fresh bait for snapper. And in 17 metres...
So that's not a typo, 17 metres.
17 metres of water off Hastings. He had a calamari come up, dropped the jig, bang. That's a nice
I was going to say, just a little
fish.
calamari, far out.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he's still got his bait.
Yeah, let's get into some of the snapper, and it's not only about the boats. Ash McMillan, he went land-based at Coronella, which was a hot spot last week, and a pigeon pair, thank you very much, of 7 kilo snapper. How good is that?
I think guys in the boats don't get to snapper that
No,
way.
I know.
That's great.
That is good. Let's have a look at Mornington Pier because it is
that time.
There's some good land-based fishing. Jaron Darcer, he went down to Mornington Pier and landed a beautiful, nice, fresh snapper. Look at the colours in that.
Best coloured snapper.
It's pretty good. Over in Western Port, the top end is absolutely on fire, and the fish just find that little pocket of warm water up some of those channels there.
Yep.
Aaron Feldman, he landed a beautiful fish that came on Sunday, I think. Sunday was a good day, wasn't it?
That was the day. Yeah.
You know, people got out, they dusted off the boat, and
the only day we've had no wind, so
Yeah.
people got the kids out too. And over in Coronella again, Blair hams, no relation to Batocki hams. Look at that. That is just a beautiful looking fish. Look at
I just heard Kev lose his mind in the commentary box then.
no relation to Batocki hams. Blair, he got. I mean, that's fresh. Look at the blue dots, the blue
Smoked that one.
tail. You what?
He smoked that one, didn't he?
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah.
Dave doesn't get it.
No, Batocki ham. I
Double
understand. Don't worry about that. Yeah. Trelly, we're not seeing many cod come out of Lake Eildon, but what we are seeing is a lot of people going fishing in freshwater as well, because when it's blowing, you can actually go freshwater fishing and be protected in the lakes.
That's right.
And some beautiful trout being caught all around Victoria. Let's have a look at the first one. Breno got a lovely 36 centimetre brown trout just trolling Blue Rock Lake.
Yeah, I haven't had a lot about Blue Rock of late.
Now, some of these lakes, I've got to say, so Blue Rock's one of them, Eildon is another, where the fish are quite skinny and just a touch of silver, you know, like...
Oh,
a lot of water
ahead.
Like Tony's.
Yeah.
We've jumped ahead.
Oh, well, I guess we can jump to Tony now. The production team behind the glass, I want to go to Pace. We'll go to Pace. Tony Matthews, he landed a lovely 1.77 kilo brown trout from the Eildon Pondage. That's a beautiful looking fish compared to a fish that's come out of a pretty high volume lake. It's pretty good. Another one from Lake Eildon, Jason Burrows got up there. He got a 7-pound brown. Look at the colours on that.
That's a good looking fish.
That's a nice fish.
It's a nice looking fish now. I'm not sure whether that's...
Got an old school now on a pegron.
Oh, really? Is that the pondage as well?
No.
No, the lake proper. That's what I thought.
Yep.
It's amazing how those old lures are still go.
Oh,
Jace
is a frequent at tackle in Mornington, and he's got a place up there. So him and his boy go up there and do a bit of fishing, and that's a crack of fish on the old school pegron.
It is.
How good's that?
There you go.
Yep.
And another place that is very, very good for trout fishing, and it's just restored to how it was probably 5, 6, 7 years ago, is Lake Bolac, and Sharon Dendel got there for a lovely rainbow trout. How good is that? And that's just typical of what's being caught at Bolac at the moment, boys.
Yeah. You just see him wrapped in a bit of tin foil with a bit of lemon.
Yep.
A spot of butter.
Onion.
Yep.
About 10 minutes on the coals.
Yeah.
Fall to bits.
Absolutely
Beautiful.
sensational. Moist,
Yep.
succulent and pink.
They are lovely to eat.
So, Trelly, with cod scene, what, are people... Oh, so I'm getting yelled at. If you'd like to send in a pic of your catch of the week, they're yelling in my ear, this is what you have to do.
If you want to be like me and have your photo on TV, email your fishing pic to info@ifish.com.au.
Boys behind the glass are on fire tonight, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, no mucking around tonight, Dave.
Yeah,
we can't
they
get-
can
can't
yell when they
upset
want to
them,
yell. We've got some mail tonight where people yell at us.
Really?
Or they're not yelling.
type in
They're
capitals?
yelling, yes, and in like 40 font. I
40
printed
font.
the email. It took 16 pages to print. There's only 3 paragraphs.
It's like poster.
So just getting back on the freshwater scene, Lake Eildon, cod. Obviously, we were up in Sydney yesterday. I was talking to a few of the fisheries project guys about Copetown. And they're just having a magnificent fishery as well. But not a lot of cod in the last couple of weeks. Couple of yellow belly, but are people going there to target those fish at the moment, John?
Yeah, they are. Jews Creek, we've had a couple of reports from Jews Creek, a couple of nice fish, but nothing you could really probably say, look, I'm going to go there this weekend and catch fish. In saying that, the weather has been still a little bit bitter cold.
And I believe the water's very dirty in Eildon at the moment. Is that the runoff and the...
Some of like if you go up towards Kevington, there's a few tracks up there which run beside the river. So you get a little bit of rain and it washes all that sort of
river?
You've got the Goulburn.
Oh yeah.
And you've got the Jamison.
Yeah, but the lake itself, I think, is pretty dirty at the moment.
Yeah, that washes in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's around 70%, so it's good level for this time of year.
Yeah.
But it does. Yeah, it's a little bit. It's not as clean as it probably what it should be. But we haven't had the rainfall too, so it's been dry. It's still really, really
dry up there.
Yeah, it's still really, really dry. Like we've normally we've normally got a few the rivers are running pretty hard at this time of year. Like if you're hunting deer, you can't get across the river because it washes your way, so you don't sort of tempt it. But,
dear.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Next on Talking Fishing, fisheries news, including all the details for this year's trout conference, right after this.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wet a line. 'Cause every day's a good day.
Stop wishing.
Every day's a chance to drift away. Drift away.
Every day's a good day for fishing. See it down and tackle world today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Live from the studios of Channel 31 Melbourne, it's now time for some very fishy news.
I was just outside in the foyer, Trelly. Mary told me off. She said, imagine if I'd tried to get you home by midnight. And I said, well, Mary. And anyway, she said, next time we're going to try and get you home by midnight. So
Yeah, well, I've got 2 things to talk about Mary about tonight too.
let's get into the news. It's that time of year again. Fisheries put on a fantastic event each year. In fact, they put on a couple. One is the Wild Trout Conference and the other one is the Cod Conference. We'll talk about the Talk Wild Trout Conference this year. It's free and it's a great chance to improve your trout knowledge and fishing success if you want. It's on Saturday the 11th of November 2017. It's 9 o'clock until 4:30, which is the weekend after the Melbourne Cup. Please put it in your calendar now and register because it's a great event. It's on at Mansfield in the Performing Arts Centre. To register, go to vfa.vic.gov.au/talktrout. And if you register, it just helps fisheries plan seating, catering, which includes a free lunch and refreshments. Seats are limited make sure you register early. Great event. We've been to it, and it is a great thing. And I'll be there again. You're going to be there?
Yeah, they give you that booklet to take home, and it's got all the statistics, the rivers, how many fish are in them, where they've passed electronic points and things. You can just base your fishing off that for the next 12 months.
One of the best things that I think fisheries do now.
It is. It's really good.
Is that?
Yep.
The conference, it covers, there's a keynote speaker, renowned trout researcher, John Hayes. He's from New Zealand. He'll be speaking about trout behaviour and what makes a good trout stream. We'll get the status of wild trout in Victoria, the survey results of 12 trout streams, progress on incubator stocking, because there's been trials in 3 rivers, outcomes of trout stocking in 2 iconic rivers. There's a whole lot of stuff. It's just worth going to. So please put it in your calendar now. Saturday the 11th of November. Worth going. We'll all be there. Ads. I'm going to drag you if you don't
I'm coming down.
All right, good. There's been a naughty boy, boys. He's been caught too. This bloke here.
Hit of the week.
Yep. He, a 33-year-old Templestowe man was convicted and fined $2,000 after pleading guilty to taking more than twice the legal catch limit for abalone in the closed season. The diver was further ordered to forfeit about $1,500 worth of diving equipment and pay the costs on receiving the conviction in the Currumbara Magistrates Court. I didn't even know Currumbara had a Magistrates Court.
Yeah.
Okay.
The man was first spotted snorkel diving with a spear gun at Shelley Beach at Kilcunda back in May. After getting out of the water, he was found to be carrying 16 abalone in a green mesh catch bag. The open day catch limit for abalone is 5 per person. VFA prosecutor Ben Carroll said the accused was asked if there were any additional abalone in his vehicle. Of course he said no. But when the fisheries officers searched his vehicle, they found another 25.
Was it his or his mates?
Slip of the mind. An idiot. The accused was interviewed and made admissions to using a screwdriver to remove the abalone from the reef. I wonder if it was a Phillips head or a
flat nose.
Anyway, the penalty for using equipment other than a specified abalone tool, well, he's an abalone tool, I can tell you, is $15,000 or 6 months imprisonment or both.
I didn't think.
I don't know
so you
why
have
they
a-
don't impose
What's
the-
a specialised abalone tool?
A bit like, you know, an oyster knife, except it's got a flat end.
yeah.
It's-
Yeah, a bit like a screwdriver.
Yep. All right, Operation Savoy. That's the next headline. Operation Savoy. On trout opening weekend, which was only a couple of weekends ago, 11 fisheries officers from across the state participated in Operation Savoy, Trelly,
Savoy.
in Victoria's north.
Must have been a
east.
cracker.
On fire tonight.
Oh, dear. They spoke to approximately 300 anglers and detected only minor offending at priority access points along the Goulburn River and its tributaries. Overall, officers were happy with high compliance rates and thanked the vast majority of anglers for doing the right thing. During the operation, officers were part of a high-profile, multi-agency roadblock, and you can see it right there. They had the road block, Trelly.
Yep.
The police were there, Vic Roads, Game Management Authority, and that's game, not gay, Management Authority, and the Department of Justice and Regulation, which is the sheriffs. On the Rubicon River, most anglers abided by recently introduced trout rules, including that water's new minimum size of 25 centimetres and bag limit of 3, of which no more than 2 trout can be over 35. One disappointing note.
Yep.
Officers spoke to several anglers who were detected fishing prior to opening. And in a separate incident, 3 men will be issued $1,586 in fines for exceeding the trout catch limit and using prohibited bait in the Acheron River at Buxton on opening Sunday. What's
prohibited bait?
What's prohibited bait?
Probably little trout.
Dynamite it.
Oh,
maybe
yeah,
little
maybe.
fish, maybe. Not that I know anything about using little fish for trout, but
Carp.
it could well work. But I don't know how many officers were involved. How many? Does it say?
No, it doesn't say.
I'd have to know what the bait was.
Yeah.
Well, that probably makes most
11,
sense.
11 fisheries officers.
Yeah.
But, okay, that's a question for
Yeah, that-
later
Yeah.
on.
That makes
I'm
most
just wondering,
sense, though.
like 11
Prohibited.
officers and what they raised $3,000 worth of fines.
Yeah.
I mean, as that, I haven't seen anything as far as a
Yeah, but they
public.
detected, they went to 300 anglers. So
Yeah.
to only issue, a few fines, that's saying that you've got to check that people are doing the
Compliance,
right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
I know.
always the wrong thing.
Yeah, but I haven't really seen. Have you really seen some educational thing about the new season's size limits?
No.
So I
We
mean,
did
a lot of
get
those
something
blokes-
at the tackle shop to put up on the wall.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a bag limit is a bag limit. That probably hasn't changed, but size limits are something that hasn't probably been out there enough.
No.
As far as some material
The
that
new
we can
trout
give as
regulations,
shops
yeah.
that we can give people.
Yeah.
You get in lure and here's a little.
This is where somehow they've got to get every licence on a database. Every licensed fisherman needs to be on a database.
Yeah.
So it's just one email to say, hey, there's a
Some
few new rules
communication,
here,
yeah.
boys. And I know, that's only 300,000 people or whatever it is, but
And they could have well detected a lot of
400,000
people
or
who had got fish and said, look, their role as part of what they done was to educate people while they're out there too. I mean, I'm not taking that away from the fact that they're probably out there doing that.
yeah, exactly. Good point, Charlie. All right, now I might just bring forward a bit of Kramer's mailbag because we've got a lot of mail about Hastings last week and just something that the Western Port Angling Club have put out, and we don't have a slide, sorry about that, I only got this today, but just a reminder, the Hastings Foreshore Precinct Plan is currently on public exhibition. It's on until 2nd of October, and the council invites the community to make a submission in relation to the plan. Now, we covered it pretty comprehensively last week that they want to put a walkway across the boat ramp, and they want to put a walkway, or a promenade, if you like, across the slipway at the Hastings Yacht Club, which is ridiculous. There is a public event, and look, I've only just read this now, and old Donnie said, make sure you take this into the show tonight, and it hasn't got a bloody bit of detail on it. So Donnie, maybe if you're watching,
Donnie.
you could text me the details, but there is a night where you go down to the council, and it's only one-sided.
Public win.
We'll look it up during the break. Thanks, Don. Just grabbed it and ran. Okay, this one was from Andy. Andy writes, I'd like to express my disgust at the proposers published foreshore plans at Hastings. This proposed plan and the total of 27 people surveyed just shows that you guys at the Shire Council are not competent to run any such foreshore service and should be stripped of this task. Well, that's what we want.
Oh.
We want the councils out. Please take note of the following points, and may I suggest that you take more notice of these following concerns from one person who has used the facility at least 50 times in the last 12 months, as opposed to 27 individual
Bankers.
Latte drinking, micro wearing.
I should get you guys to guess. What do you reckon he's called them?
Bankers.
No. Dog walking morons.
That's nice.
Right? Who have never used the facility. Dog walking morons. They got 27 of them in a room and asked them about what they thought about boat ramps. Dog walking morons. So health and safety, first and foremost. Have you lost your mind? Pedestrian and cycle walkways across boat ramps and slipways. Are you trying to reduce the population in Hastings? If this plan is put into place, it's an accident waiting to happen. People think that they can walk behind a boat and the person reversing the boat can see them and stop to allow them right away. Come on. Have any of you ever launched a boat or even been to a boat ramp for that matter?
Good point, but from a guy who's been down there, 50 times?
In the last 12 months.
In the last 12 months. I mean, once a week, he's obviously got a little bit of handle what's going on.
Yeah.
Good points.
He goes on parking. How the hell can you justify removing nearly 60% of the overflow parking at Hastings? I suggest that you leave your office, go on a field trip on a Saturday morning between October and December and see for yourself the problem. We need every space we have and pay for. If you remove 60% of these spaces, where do you propose we park our trailers after paying our fees? I'm going to park that because there's a fair bit to read. But have a look at this one. I'm just going to jump to this one. I think I've got it here. Now, this was posted on our Facebook page last week. We've got a slide here. So this is about the promenade that's going to go in front of the slipway. This is dated April 22, 1991. And it's to the Commodore of the Hastings Yacht Club. And it says, Dear Commodore, comments to Hastings Foreshore Reserve draft management plan. So they put out a plan in 1991. And it says, thank you for submitting comments to the above document. Your correspondence was forwarded to the Hastings Foreshore Reserve Management Plan Consultative Committee, a committee established by the Council to oversee the preparation of this document. The committee reviewed your correspondence and asked that I advise you of its views. The committee noted that your concern about the proposed walkway crossing the front of the yacht club and agreed with you that this is likely to lead to a dangerous situation. This is in 1991. Therefore, the committee decided to amend the draft plan such that the proposed walkway will be located behind both your club and the adjacent boat launching ramp. Now, obviously the council have lost this letter in their records where they decided it was a dumb idea. But the new planners that have come along fresh out of university and gone, let's draw up a plan where there's a promenade crossing the slipway. You didn't read the 1991 letter that said that you guys admitted it's a dumb idea.
You're right, bud. He's probably the hairy-headed university student that just come out of university.
He studied promenades on boat ramps.
And he's come up with this idea.
He has a degree in promenades on boat ramps. Up next, product of the week. Some cracking lures by Shimano. See you soon on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
Good morning, spotters. Stephanie speaking.
Product of the week, brought to you by Tackle World.
Talking Fishing.
Now, just before we get to these insanely good Shimano lures that Dave's been talking about, just two things. We're going to have some real fun with that Hastings thing, aren't we?
Just a tad.
Yeah, that's unreal.
Well, you know, I mean, it's
common sense.
That is just the reason why councils should not be running our boat ramps in Victoria. They just need to go take over. They all need to be taken over by the Victorian Boat Ramp Authority. I already name it. And they just need to get on with it because these councils are incompetent. They don't even know that when they make a dumb decision and admit to it, that they don't make a dumb decision again. The same one. Come on.
It's gold. Anyway, product of the week.
Product of the week.
Before we get to the Shimano lures, I just thought I had to bring this in because for me personally, these are just absolutely wrong. That's how good they look. This is a new swim bait trolley, huge in your area and very quickly filtering their way down to ours. This is a little Lucky Craft BG 150 swim bait, and you do realise every single time one of these new things comes in the shop, I'm going to bring it into the show, because I just think the finish that we're seeing in a lure these days is just next level.
It is.
So these are a little 3-piece jointed swim bait, little soft plastic tail which is removable. So if that tail gets chewed,
you can
snagged,
replace it.
you just slide it out. I won't do it because I'll.
Do you get new ones with it?
You do. You get 2 tails in a
replace it.
packet. So there's a different coloured tail on it too. This is a little chartreuse pattern, but
Trolley told 2 tails last
these
night.
are. I'm sure he told more than that. These are just something else, Charlie. It never ceases to amaze me the quality of lures that are coming out these days, as I'm about to show you on the blue water side of things, but in your neck of the woods, that is just...
What does BG stand for? Bloody good.
Yeah,
bloody good.
Bloody good, yeah. But that looks like a little tilapia you'd use down at
That's right.
Hazelwood.
At Hazelwood,
Honestly, you get one of these, put it in the water.
Don't talk about Hazelwood. The people, the cowboys on the keyboard, they all reckon it's over. Nah, the fish are near a metre long. They've been electrofishing during the week. Near a metre long.
So keep that in mind next time you're planning your winter trip to Ilden, which is now still open. Just a big reminder.
Insane looking.
So have a look at them. They're cool. Now on to
actually, if that was swimming by a log, like if I saw that in the water, I'd throw a lure at it.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, Shimano have just released a brand new range of lures under the Colt Sniper branding.
Hey.
This is a little rock pop, so you would probably recognise it from its bigger brother called the Spouter. What makes it unique to different poppers, you've got these little funnels on top of the head. It's very hard to see. We're down a cameraman tonight, but this creates almost a rooster tail of water to reenact fleeing bait fish. So a smaller size, that's 90 mil long. For us down here, some of the monstrous salmon that are around at the moment, kingfish when they start turning up. I think especially for those shallower boat moorings where you find them, piers, they'll be an absolute cracker. Charlie, before I move on, I want to ask you, what is the consensus with cup-face poppers like this, and they are designed and aimed at the blue water market? Has that got cod written all over it?
No, not really. It's sort of that's a sort of wrong movement. Cod and native like that real slow or constant type movement. I think you've got to sort of work that to make. You've got the holes in the top of your heads. And it goes through and it's pretty much a saltwater one.
It's
that one.
Different type of a thing
but
there.
In saying that, I'd give it a go.
Yeah, just sort of. You think about it, you know, and it goes to show you as well that poppers aren't poppers.
Yeah.
You know,
How
they
big
do.
Get? What's that one?
They make them up to a 200 mil, I think. So quite big.
That's, it's getting outside.
But that's a little rock pop. Now we get into some of the new stuff that we haven't seen out at Shimano before. This is the Colt Sniper Rock Slide. They make them in 2 different sizes. This is 120 mil. They make it in 140 mil as well.
Yep.
What makes these unique? This is basically a concept that was taken in a very small estuary lure and turned into something a hell of a lot bigger. So what Shimano are doing with these lures, there's a very specific and unique weight scale in there, which allows you to get absolute maximum distance on each cast, because as you can see, casting a lure 120 mil long into the wide open ocean is literally like trying to find a needle in a haystack. This allows you to cast extra distance to cover as much water as humanly possible. Now that's got this beautiful little flutter on the drop, like a bait fish that's just been whacked or hit and is stunned. These insane holographic sides throw a heap of light, but with long sweeping, I guess, actions of your rod tip, that'll actually glide. So very versatile, and I think again for our big salmon market and our kingfish market, but an emerging market which is we've just started playing with in the last couple of years. In the summer, particularly down at Portland, the bluefin tuna will mix with the yellowtail kingfish, and guys are casting small stick baits at these big schools, and you need to sit away. As soon as you get too close, you're in crystal clear, shallow water. If you get too close, it's all over. This will change the game.
I like the way it's got a few little flat sides, rather than being sort of round all the way, because you know how you get that fish it'll show that little flick in the water or reflection in the water.
That's right.
That's what those little flat sides do. You just said, oh, that was something over there. Just see that little roll in the water, you know.
Exactly.
That's what that does.
So have a look at that. That's going to become very relevant. Now, this is the Colt Sniper Rock Dive. So this is the big one, 160 mil. What sets this lure apart, it still maintains the same cast weight management system as we just saw in the Rock Slide. So maximum casting distance. This is actually made of a high density foam.
Really?
Not plastic.
Yep.
Now, what that does, it creates a beautiful, consistent buoyancy, which allows the lure to sit at rest exactly the way they want it to sit. So the head sits up, and on a 45-degree angle, the tail sits down. Now, that's designed for these topwater lures. That is an injured bait fish gulping for air, doesn't know what's going on. It is really struggling, but that high-density foam allows you to keep that consistent buoyancy. So even after it's been hit a few times, or you cast it into it hits a couple of rocks or hits a bit of reef, you're still going to get a working action at rest, because that is a massive key to topwater lures like this slider. The presentation at rest is just as important as what it does when it's underway. So that's something very unique. A little keel system under the chin there helps keep the chin up, and you can maintain that walk the dog style action just by keeping the rod tip high and winding. So you don't actually need an aggressive rod action to get it working. But if you sweep the rod like we're talking about with the Rock Slide, it will actually stick its head under and still maintain that side to side action. So again, very versatile.
Like
this is probably aimed more at your that's right. Long, slow sweeps of the rod, shallow water for the bigger kingfish. I think bluefin are probably going to be a little bit too full on for them, but your trevally species, if you're heading up north, but down here, your kingfish especially, you're going to see these a lot during summer.
Notice you brought a constant colour in with those. That's your favourite colours, Dads?
I think it just appeals most to our blue water. There's about 6 colours in each, I think. So and they're all very natural. So
I'm just waiting for the rock spider.
Pop in and check them out. The rock swim bait.
The rock crab.
But there you go. They're the new Shimano.
Very good. Awesome. Check them out in your local tackle shop. Up next, Kramer's Mailbag right after this on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
Make mine a Mornington.
G'day, David Kramer here. I'm a massive fan of the Mazda BT50, having personally driven and owned one for more than 5 years now. And to tell you what, you can't beat them for an all-round great ute and a great tow vehicle. Get into Mornington Mazda before the end of the month and grab yourself a run-out bargain. I made mine a Mornington Mazda.
Make mine a Mornington Mazda.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And young Donald, 93-year-old Don Newman, he's got his 94th coming up soon.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. He writes in and says, it's just on the text message here, I'm just hiding my phone. It says, the drop-in session is this Thursday at the Hastings office of the Mornington Peninsula Shire Council. This Thursday, 5:30 to 7:30. Get down there, please, and make your thoughts known. Anyway, that's what you got to do. We need as many people down there this Thursday to get down and have your say about the Hastings Foreshore.
Just quickly,
free tea and scones.
5:30 to 7:30.
Just quickly before you read the mailbag, so we got a bit of live mailbag for a second. Jerry, don't hate the player, mate. Hate the game. This shirt is a cracker, and it could be a little bit worse because I could be wearing a shirt like Dave's.
Oi.
So just relax on the shirt, mate. All right.
Bit of live feedback to our audience commenting on Adam's shirt. Now, this old mate, Andy, he went on to say, the proposed plan, this is about the Hastings Foreshore redevelopment, the proposed plan to have single parking spaces at the front of the foreshore where the current way gantry and boat parking is also unacceptable. As boaters, we pay to park our cars and trailers here. To put single car parks in so that Mr. and Mrs. Ramp Rat can park and have a nice look out is not on. Are you going to charge these parking spaces at $125 a year? And if not, why? So that's a good point.
It is a good point.
The people that park there, why aren't they charged the same as the people that park 20 metres away? Keep all car single spaces on your office side and the Pelican Point side as it is now. Single cars in boat ramp allocated areas are a pain in the bottom, but he didn't write bottom. The fishing clubhouse, he goes on to say, frankly, how dare you? This building has been there since 1989 and was paid for by its members. Now, he wrote, it might be a typo, he says WTF. I think it meant to be WPAC, Western Port Angling Club, but he's typed it wrong there because it says WTF. Who the hell do you think you are saying this building is to be removed? This club hosts and brings in a lot of business for the locals with its regular competitions it runs and the visitors they bring. You might have taken us the wrong way here. You need to listen to the people who use the facility for the launching of boats. Do what you want with the non-boat ramp side of the foreshore, but really open your eyes. Wake up and smell what you are shoveling. This facility is one of the busiest in Victoria, and your plans put forward after a staggering survey of 27 people cannot be permitted to go ahead. I'm sure that thousands of boaties that use the facility would be more than willing to protest this plan. There you go. So that was that one.
Yeah.
Now,
that really invites a response letter from the council to the Talking Fishing Show, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Well, they won't come on. I've asked them. Now, this bloke's yelling at us. Look at the size font, and it's all in capitals. I'll just read it. I sent a copy of this email to the state member, Luke Donnellan, and my federal member, Anthony Byrne, and Peter Treloar, the MP for Flinders. Let's check out Hastings Foreshore precinct plan. I'm an avid boating and fisherman. This move by the Mornington Shire is stupidity at its best. What are the Shire officers daydreaming about? The state and federal governments want to increase the number of people doing recreational boating and fishing, and this proposal is not the right way to achieve their goal. If they go ahead with it, they will kill the tourist and recreational boating amenity in Hastings. The so-called close consultation with community and key stakeholder groups, i.e. the 27 people aged between 55 and 75 years old on a senior citizens bus leaving the RSL at 10:30 at night. We were only joking when we said that. Do not meet community standards for such a project. They did only survey 27 people.
Yeah, I know.
And they were between 55 and 75.
They were, but they weren't on the bus from the RSL. Apologies for... We just stretched that story. Anyway, good on you, Graham, for sending that.
This council, I reckon the next thing they'll do is get rid of Australia Day or something stupid like that.
Probably, Charlie. Yeah. Here's another one from Andy. He's written we'll maybe put some links up on our Facebook page. The local council, the same council, down at Rye, right? So they're actually going to do a good project at Rye.
Yep.
But then all the local community kicked up and said, well, if you put a fourth boat ramp in, more jet skis will turn up because of the fourth ramp, which will kill more dolphins. So in the
dolphin reserve.
Now the community is taking them to VCAT.
So they don't put the extra ramp in.
Yeah. So they're going to spend all these millions of dollars. They got a grant from the state government to put an extra ramp in.
Yeah.
Now they're just going to spend it on stuffing up the car park and not putting an extra ramp. It won't help at all.
So it actually changed the decision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Same council. They're ex-bankers, I think. Okay, a couple of other ones non-related to Hastings, because Hastings is just a disaster. We're going to put some more stuff about Hastings up next week. It's just screaming in. Write to us, please. Hi, boys. I found the answer to my question on Tuesday. Here's the link. Now, we'll put this one up on Facebook tomorrow too. This is out of the Victorian recreational fishing guide, boys. For each species of fish not listed in this guide, a bag or possession limit of 5 applies. Right. So this is about if you go on holidays for a few days and you want to, what's your possession limit? The bag limit, the maximum number of a particular type of fish that a person may take on any one day. The possession limit, the maximum number of a particular type of fish that a person may possess at any time while in, on or next to Victorian waters. However, for abalone, possession limits apply in all parts of Victoria. E.g., David, this is what it says in the guide, it's not about me. David is holidaying at a caravan park for the long weekend. He has 12 bream in his possession in his caravan from fishing for 3 days. So he's only caught 4 a day. He's not a very good fisherman, David. David can have more than the possession limit for bream, which is 10, because he can demonstrate that he's been in residence at the caravan park for several days.
So more than the bag limit or possession limit?
Well, it says more than... You're allowed to have more than a possession limit.
Possession limit.
Because it's a daily possession. So, I don't know, maybe it's got...
Isn't daily possession just be the bag limit, wouldn't it?
It sounded good the first time I read it. Very quickly, I'm not sure how much time we've got, but... hi, Dave and lads. I'm just after some Tips for Eildon. I'm camping up on the Delatite Arm next week. As long as I don't freeze, I'll be targeting cod for 2 days and trout for the other 2. Fishing from my kayak, should I be using surface lures or big spinners? And what structure should I be looking for? As for trout, I have both hard body lures and flies. I would prefer to use my fly rod to catch one. Any tips or advice would be good on what flies lures are working at the moment. I'd say keep the fly rod away. It's, the insect hatches are really more a summer thing.
Yeah.
And just towing around hard bodies, casting, whatever.
Yeah.
On the cod scene, Trelly,
We'll take
surface
the gun,
lures or
there's a few
big...
deer.
Huh?
We'll take the gun, there's a few deer in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spinners, big spinners, which I guess he's saying spinner baits, or surface lures. What would you do from the kayak?
Yeah, both actually. Big surface lures and big spinner baits.
Yep.
Big presence, that's all. There's
Yeah.
big thump during the water.
Yeah, and you're just looking for very big timber structure, aren't you?
Yeah,
Really?
timber structure or rock faces.
Yep.
Or points, anything that holds a bit of structure or a bit of wind pushing onto a point, that type of thing. So it'll push bait onto points. So fish those areas. Yeah.
Yep. And this one from Noel, he writes, boys, isn't it about time that bait suppliers provided bait in biodegradable bags rather than use once plastic bags? I remove dozens of bags from the beach off Cape Woolamai every year. I also know how easy it is to accidentally lose a bag overboard when you're on the move in a boat. Supermarkets and state governments are banning plastic bags, so why not get bait suppliers to adopt more environmentally friendly packaging? From Noel, he's aged 68, from Cape Woolamai.
Good point, but
It is a good point.
you can take it. You can take it home. I mean, who
a
would leave
lot end up in the
bag?
water. You're sitting on the bait board and it blows off or whatever, Charlie.
Yeah, okay.
It's a good point, and it's going to take a major change. It probably needs some government intervention if that's ever going to happen. But anyway, thanks, Noel. And Noel took offence to your comments, Adam, last week that people over 55 don't and can't use computer technology. How dare you, Adam?
It's a good email.
Yeah, pretty good. If you'd like to write into Kramer's Mailbag, this is what you do.
Send your mail to Kramer's Mailbag, PO Box 734, Patterson Lakes, Victoria 3197, or email kramer@ifish.com.au.
You only met a few of those 55-year-olds, didn't you? It's more the 75-year-olds that have got no idea.
Yep.
That were on that bus. No, that were on the bus and thought it was a good idea to put a promenade in front of the
those loose
Hastings
cannons
Slipway.
up the back of the bus.
Coming up next, this week's Hotspots. We'll be back shortly on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
G'day, Callan here from Paul Worslam's Tackle World Cranbourne. Supercharged batteries have been supplying maintenance-free marine batteries since 2001. The Seamaster Gold range is second to none, delivering superior starting power and reserve capacity. No need to top up with water, truly a fit and forget battery. With up to 2 years replacement warranty, you know you have quality. Your battery is your lifeline. Without it, you're dead in the water because it's bloody hard to push start. I've got a Seamaster battery in my boat. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And now the segment you've all been waiting for.
Hotspots, brought to you by Seamaster Batteries. Make yours a Seamaster Gold.
Can I just clarify, 93-year-old Don, I don't reckon he knows how to use a computer because he wrote that bit of paper that I had before.
Handwritten.
Yeah, and it doesn't tell you where to go. So I'm going to have to read off this. The drop-in session is on Thursday, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the Community Hub. It's 1973 Frankston Flinders Road in Hastings. The Community Hub is not the Shire office. It's closer to near the Kings Creek Hotel. If there's a minibus parked out the front, be scared. No, he didn't really write that. But anyway.
So now that we're all insanely confused.
Yeah, so go to the Community Hub in Hastings if you want to go Thursday night, 5:30 to 7:30, to have your say about how they're going to stuff up Hastings Foreshore. Right, let's get into the hotspots. And number one, there is some snapper. I know we haven't been reporting much off Port Phillip Bay, but if you want to head down to Seaford, I am told, in 19 metres of water,
Nice.
the reefs off Seaford are holding some good snapper already, boys.
Yep.
You know what bait?
Oh, probably pilchards, I'd
Yep.
say.
Pilchards, Trelly.
Well played.
Yep.
Starting to pick up on this
Keep
stuff.
keep it simple at this time of year, don't get too fancy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Old Pilly, 19 metres, the reef's off Seaford. Over your side of the bay, Trelly,
Yep.
there is also some snapper holding off Port Arlington.
Yeah, it's been a
the
little bit of
water
hot. Yeah, we've actually had a few reports down that way. Like guys, actually, even off the pier, the Cunningham Pier, we caught some good ones there, just to add the hotspot thing.
Yeah.
But the guys who are getting out are catching some nice winter
There you
snapper.
go. So it is the time if you want to get one. They're usually bigger, aren't they, this time of year?
Correct.
No small ones around. Over in Western Port, the Tooradin Channel, we talked about the top end of Western Port, the Tooradin Channel. If you can get the start of the run-out tide, it is the perfect time. Bit of warmer water up in that channel, and perhaps where you've got 11 degrees or 11 and a half in the bay proper.
Yep.
You might have a 13 up that top end.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Especially we're starting to get some warmer days now.
Well,
too.
the
So
grass,
surface
is,
temperature.
yeah.
grass has dried out a
Yeah.
little bit in the last couple of days, so it's not too bad. If you want to get down near the Coronella area, and I know this time of year the
Everybody will.
locals hate it because the boat ramp is chock-a-block, but the Tenby Channel, get up there, same thing.
Yep.
First at the run-out tide, I reckon, is a pretty damn good time.
Yep, and a nice little channel that you've got access to land-based
Yeah.
as well. So I'd expect to see some good snapper from there over the next couple of weeks, both from the guys in the boats and off the beach.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
pretty good. If the weather breaks, and I think there's a little break, I might be right, tomorrow and I think Monday are two really good days. If you can get out of Portland, I can assure you there are barrel tuna off
Yes.
Portland.
Yep.
We just need a break in
That's
the weather.
right. Well, the last
Correct.
two breaks that we've had, Simon Rinaldi's hooked
Yeah.
barrel-sized tuna both days.
Yep.
It's just getting weather.
And if
That's
you
what
want to
we're
get
at.
out, I
Yeah.
mean, Simon knows when the weather's good. There's some great windows, but they're only very short in the next 7 days. Get down to Portland. Give Simon a ring if you want to jump on board. And lucky last, I know young Jesse from the shop got out during the week at Lake Eildon just trolling for trout because it is nice and cool.
Yep.
It is the time to get some trout. He got his PB, which was a 55 centimetre
Nice.
brown.
Yep.
But skinny and silver, but still a nice fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So plenty of trout around at Lake Eildon. It is the time to get out, boys. So, and Trelly, I know. Look, people will be up on the, on Eildon and trying to get some cod and yellow belly only just around the corner.
Yeah, we've had a couple of guys up there catching a couple, but I'll tell you a little bit more when they really sort of get going. So, but they haven't started really.
Is there a temperature break where they would really start to come on?
Good question, actually. I
why
really
I asked
probably
it.
haven't researched that. And it's usually like that. The Melbourne Cup weekend is or lead up to
Okay.
that is the time.
Which obviously we've probably had a couple of 30-degree days then.
Exactly,
And the
so there will
surface
be.
is certainly a bit warmer.
There will be, but it's amazing how deep it is. You're catching them. Is it a slight temperature? What makes the difference? It's like
Yeah.
1 degree or half a degree.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, there you go. Back on the tuna, boys. I don't know whether anyone's out the front, but if you
You'd
went
have
out
to
the
be
front as
looking.
well,
Yeah.
those tuna, because there just hasn't been any days to get out, or very rare days that
Yep.
you can get out on the tuna. They would have to be widespread right along the Victorian coast right now, and that's
right.
what happened last year.
Yep.
There was fish all the way along from Portland, virtually through to Phillip Island, if you like,
Yep.
and people just can't get out.
And I know there has been a few diehard locals looking on those good days, but we're only getting 1 day at a time. We haven't
it.
had those 3 or 4 day breaks where, from what I hear, they're finding plenty of bait, but bait's everywhere.
Yeah.
Where are the fish going to be? So it's hard work. There's guys looking, but we just can't get that run of 3 or 4 days to
No.
put a pattern together.
Yeah.
really hard.
Trelly, one last thing before we wind up the show,
Yeah.
the marine parks issue, which is in the Commonwealth waters. I think there's still a couple of days left to make some comments.
Yeah, put a submission in.
Yeah.
And,
Now, the ABC News ran a big story that was so green, it was
Yeah.
not funny, about how this is devastating, that more people will be fishing in marine park green zones and all this. They just seem to be able to get their side of the story to air.
That's right. And if,
Most
I look at
important.
if you look at the fish take per hectare with those areas, it's minuscule compared to a lot of places overseas as far as it goes. And the Burke Green Plan, which covered a huge amount, like as big as your head on the map.
Yep.
The coalition have sort of sliced all that off, and they've got some other bits covered in bits and pieces. So the coalition plan, as far as recreation,
So
is
what
much
we're asking
better.
people to do is back the plan that the government is proposing now. They're proposing some changes.
Exactly.
We need to back it. It's good. Everyone
Yeah.
hates the word marine parks, but the words marine parks, but what their plan is to actually make it better for fishing, and we need to support it. Google it, get onto AFTA, I think it is.
Yeah, correct.
And follow the links and support the plan, because it is very important. Because I tell you what, the people that want to grow marine parks and they want to see the end of fishing, they're a strong lobby group, and they're not even Australian.
And they don't even go there.
No.
They don't even go there, and they're not Australian.
No.
They're overseas mobs. Exactly.
If you took them out on a boat, what would you do?
Oh, they probably wouldn't go sashimi. I don't think. Yeah, well, probably things I shouldn't say on air, but probably wouldn't come back.
Yeah. You a bit of feedback from viewers. Are you wearing flares tonight? That was just a bit of feedback.
No, actually, they're just the old common
regular pant.
Regular pant, but I can get some. They're coming back into fashion.
Flares are
I'll
coming back
find
in.
some to share. Find some in my cupboard.
Only flares I thought were in fashion were the ones that they take to the soccer these days. They're out of date, but anyway, it's all good. Next week, boys, a big thing. We're going to cover the new reef. The new artificial reef that's going to be sunk off Sydney. It's really, really exciting. We were up there last night covering it. More of that next week. That's it for Talking Fishing. We hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget, all the information from tonight's show will be up on our Facebook page tomorrow, and a repeat of this show can be watched right now as we're streaming live on Facebook, as we do every week. Until we see you again next Tuesday on Talking Fishing, please stay safe on the water and enjoy your fishing.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. We got all you need, just take a look. Watch those fish jump on your hook. So just relax and take your time. Enjoy the show, then drop us a line. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing.
Have a good weekend, Mr. Walker.
You too, son.